Now, go a little deeper, I'll drill a little bit deeper. I don't want to get into too. What happened, and I want you to think about this over the week, this is your homework, is to think out what stories you've made up about your parents. You know, I'm not as smart as my older brother or sister. You know, my parents favor one of my other siblings in the family. I'm not loved as much, blah, 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 blah. That story goes on and on and on, and you make up those stories. You know, and I can't live up to my, just this year, live up to my older brother's wrestling record. At the Nationals this year, one of the All-Americans didn't do as well as he would have wanted to, and his coach would have wanted to, and his family would have, and they call it pressure. He's under a lot of pressure. Anybody experience pressure in their life? Just raise your hand. Let me tell you, there's no pressure. Pressure doesn't exist. It's a story that's made up, and there's no pressure in the story. In his story, I don't even know this to be fact, but I'm just no human beings and understand performance. They had a story that they could meet the expectations of what their brothers did in their family. So, guess what? He made up that story. His performance went where it could have been what happened here. So I want you to think, here's what else human beings do. We go through life, human beings go through life making it look good and avoiding looking bad. And some of you here might be pretending to be a wrestler. Some of you may be here wrestling because your father makes you wrestle. Now, that's not all bad. I'm not saying your father's bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that where you can increase your level is to be whole and complete, is to share, have a conversation and say, hey, Dad, you know what? I really don't want to wrestle for you anymore. I want to make a commitment, and I want to wrestle for myself now. Just the fact that you brought the unsaid to the said gives you power and strength to create new possibilities and to get you unstuck. I just use that as an example. Okay? Back to other reasons why we get stuck as in our performance is that sometime back in from 4 years old on up to 18 years old, something happened, and something happened negative, and we created out of that experience 3 strong suits, minimum of 3 strong suits. And those 3 strong suits happen to help you survive, so nobody can take advantage of you, so you can survive. But what happens is, and I'm going to stop here, I don't want to go too long on this, but what happens is, that becomes your identity, and then your identity gets in the way from your performance. And we'll talk about denial and blind spots a little bit later. I just want to give you the introduction, and I'm going to share with you in a conversation how to get unstuck. And what's really, really fun about this, there's no treadmill. There's no do's and don'ts, shoulds or shouldn't, true or falses. There's no any of that. It's basically for you to understand what story's going on and observe that so you can create some new possibilities, which I'll share with you later. But anyway, at this juncture, I'm just going to put a period and just challenge you to find out in your life what stories you have and to figure out what your identity is. And then we'll talk a little bit about, you all have a racket. We'll talk about your racket and your act and how that all locks us. Our past becomes our future, and we just keep performing the same all the time. we're going to get to a point where you can create new possibilities and increase your performance. That's why you're here. We are taking a stand for your greatness. We want you to live a powerful life. And the greatest thing it is that you already chose a sport that got you out of the stands, and those stands that you were in are going to be the same stands that are going to be available to you the rest of your life. And this is exciting because you now understand mastering reality, mastering your identity, mastering possibilities, because you have the practice and the experience of being on the mat, and I'm saying being on the mat of life. And it can be a basketball court, it can be football, but wrestling's very pure. Wrestling's the last sport that we don't win at all costs. Wrestlers don't want to take illegal drugs to beat their opponent. That doesn't happen in our sport. If it does, they're gone. They're the exception. And they get found out as being inauthentic, and they're gone. So think about it. You're in the best sport. So this week I want you to work to become the best you can, and work to learn everything you can learn. And that's true. And then take that and drill it and drill it and drill it until you have muscle memory. Once you have muscle memory, you can do it on the mat. And the only way you ever lose is you just run out of time. That's it. You just give it your all. Give it your best all the time. So I'm going to stop there and wish you good luck this week. We'll be working with you. We'll pick up at that point and go to the next on performance on how to get unstuck. All right. Good job.